All right, guys, we are on CLT practice test number 2, math question number 118. And it says a cylinder 5 feet high with a circumference of 2 pi feet is about 40% full of water. The company that owns the cylinder plans to dye the water blue. If they need 4 ounces of dye for every 12 cubic inches of water, how much dye will they need to dye all of the water currently in the cylinder? So I want to visualize this. I'm going to visualize a cylinder. And my answer is going to have something to do with cubic inches of water. And they're giving us our measurements at the beginning here in feet. I don't want to read this in feet. I'm going to convert my 5 feet to how many inches? There's 12 inches in 1 foot, so 5 feet is 60 inches. And then the circumference is 2 pi feet. Circumference equals 2 pi. I know the formula is 2 pi r. And so 2 pi means that the radius equals 1 foot, or the radius is 12 inches. Okay, and I think that's all I needed to know out of the circumference, because what we're doing with our cylinder is we're filling it with water. When you fill up something, you're seeing how much space it takes up. You are finding the volume, and we want it to be about 40% full of water, and they want to dye the water blue, and they're finding out how much dye do they need. So I don't want to find the volume of the whole entire cylinder. I only want 40% of it. So what's 40% of 60 inches? That'd be 4 inches for every 10 inches. 4 times 6, that'd be 24 inches height. And my formula for volume of a cylinder is not given to us on the reference sheet. This is something you got to have memorized when you're going in. So volume of a cylinder. First, you're going to take your area of the base, which is pi r squared, and then multiply it by the height, because we have a 3-dimensional figure, and that'll tell us how many cubic inches of water are here, okay? So now I'm going to plug in my numbers that I have for my radius and my height. So that's pi times our radius is 12 inches times a height of 24 inches equals, I know 12 squared is 144, so 144 times 24 pi, and over to the side, 144 times 24. And do you see me here multiplying like a perfect little 4th or 5th grader, right? We're writing this out. There is no calculator on this test. You've got to remember how to write out your multiplication and long division like you did when you were younger. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 4 is 16 plus 1, 17. 4 times 1, 1 plus 4, 5. Placeholder 0. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 4 again is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. Add them up. 6, 7 plus 8, 15. 5 plus 8, 13 plus 1, 14. So we have a volume right here of a total, okay, a volume right here of 3,456 pi cubic inches. And then it says they only need 4 ounces of dye for every 12 cubic inches of water. So we want to multiply this times our answer times 4/12. Well, 4 and 12 can both be divided by 4, and 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. So we're multiplying by a third, which is the same as dividing by 3. And I know that 3,000 something divided by 3 is going to be 1,000 something. So this is the only one that's 1,000 something. So I've got my answer. And if you want to prove it with long division, like if you have a question and their numbers are closer together and you can't just eyeball it to divide like that, remember your 5th grade and 3rd grade long division. 3,456 divided by 3. I know that 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 times 1 is 3. Bring down the 4. 3 goes into 4 one time. Divide, multiply, subtract. Bring it down. 3 goes into 15 5 times. Look at that. It's looking perfect. 5 times 3 is 15. And then 3 goes into 6 and even 2 times. And look at that. We've got our answer double checked. And then question number 119. Teachers Mr. Lee and Miss Kerjack recently finished preparing terrariums for the 30 students that will be using them in an upcoming science lesson. It took 2 hours for both of them working together to prepare the 30 terrariums. During those 2 hours, Mr. Lee was preparing 1 terrarium every 6 minutes. Miss Kerjack just found out that she will have to prepare another 7 by herself for students in another class. How long will it take Miss Kerjack to make 7 terrariums by herself? Okay, so in 2 hours, they made 30 of them. Mr. Lee made 1 every 6 minutes. So in 2 hours, 1 hour has 60 minutes, 2 hours has 120 minutes, divided by 6. So Mr. Kerjack, he made 20 in 2 hours, which means they made a total of 30. So Miss Kerjack made 10 in 2 hours. So 2 hours is 120 minutes again. She made 10. 120 divided by 10 is just, well, that's just 12. So it took Miss Kerjack 12 minutes each. And the question is, how long will it take Miss Kerjack to make 7 terrariums by herself? Okay, that's just 12 times 7. It takes her 12 minutes each, and she needs to make 7. 7 times 2, 7 times 1, 7 plus 1. So it'll be 84 minutes for her to make those by herself. And we've made it to the last question, question number 120 on CLT, practice test number 2. If squiggle is defined such that sine squiggle equals square root of 3 over 2, what is the value of cotangent of squiggle? So anytime I see sine, cosine, tangent, cotangent, I'm thinking of a right angle triangle. Maybe it looks something like this. Here's my little squiggle angle. And sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So we've got opposite square root of 3 over the hypotenuse is 2. And if you look on your reference sheet for right triangles, you can see those two numbers, square root of 3 and 2, on a 30, 60, 90 degree triangle. So we know the ratios that the hypotenuse is 2 and the legs are square root of 3 and 1. So my tangent of squiggle would be OA, opposite over adjacent. So cotangent of that squiggle is adjacent over opposite. So adjacent is 1, opposite is square root of 3. So our answer is A, because the adjacent angle is, or not angle, the adjacent side is 1 and the opposite side is square root of 3. Don't sleep on your reference sheet. They give you a lot of useful information on your reference sheet. I hope that while you're going through this practice, you are utilizing your reference sheet and making sure you know what is on your reference sheet and what formulas you're using for your test questions that are not on the reference sheet and what you need to memorize. Do you need to memorize your perfect squares? Are you forgetting some of your times tables? Or are there some times tables you need to practice before you take the test? Do you remember your subtraction with regrouping? All of those things that you might be relying on your calculator for, you need to brush up those skills before you take this test so you don't miss something that would have been really easy for you. I hope that these videos have helped you to boost your confidence, to get ready to take your CLT exam and do your absolute best so you can get the score that that you need to meet whatever goal it is that you might have coming